Hello, guys. This is Ted Fetch with another Ted Fetch perspective. And since everyone is just adamant about the fact that, stating that, if I'm lying or something like that, so that way there's none whatsoever, any kind of somebody trying to say I lied or I'm telling you something that's not true or I'm manipulating any facts, I thought I'd read the entire from their words on their website, so that way everyone knows I didn't lie, I didn't make this up, it's out there, it's a real thing, and I'm just reading you public information on a website that is the World Economic Forum, the same people that are on pretty much every board, and right now, as far as the virus is concerned, yes. You can find them everywhere. You find the CDC, you find the World Health Organization, United Nations. All of those things are also, you're going to find a person, the corporation, the entity, the website, the people that are the World Economic Forum. Everywhere, all the time, on anything that you look for that has anything to do with the world, they're there and they're a part of it. And usually, from what I understand as far as the website that I read, that is their website actually making agenda for the world. So no one thinks that I made this up or I lied to you or I said something that was untrue. I thought that I'd just go ahead and read directly from their website so that way it's their words, not mine. Just like I did the CDC diagram, which is not me that made up that, as you people all make it very known to me every day how lazy I am not to get out of bed. Do you think I had time in my laziness to do all this? No, I didn't. According to you, that's just something I don't do very well, is get out of bed and do things. So do you think I made a diagram like that? No, I didn't. I'm just showing you a diagram that is the CDC guidelines that was made for the corporations to even be able to manufacture the vaccine. They had to have those things in it, which are real, and it's called the Surveillance and Monitoring Program. With I counted 13 acronyms of corporations, private and government, that have that information. They make it very nice, easy to read diagram, which shows like a needle, like this is where it starts, the needle, vaccine, that's the shot. And then next thing, it just shows the diagram goes all the way down to all these people that get the data from there. Why would they need data? These are good questions that no one cares to ask except me. And I'll ask them if no one else does, because I don't want to be part of the surveillance and monitoring program that's in the vaccine. I really don't. Why do I know it's in there? Because they tell me it's in there. It's on their website. The same people that you trust, the CDC. So, yeah, it's in there. Why do I know it? Because they show me it's in there. Who does? The CDC. So, yeah. Unless the CDC is lying about everything, which if that's the case, we all need to just forget about the whole virus altogether. Because you can either trust them or you don't, but you can't have them. Well, they're wrong about this and right about that. I think they're wrong about I'd like to believe they're wrong about everything, including the vaccine, the virus, and the mask, and all of that. I'll go with that reality every day, but that's not the reality that's on their website, and that's not the reality you believe, because you keep telling me about the stuff that I should listen to that they tell me is the CDC guidelines. Well, we had a big win today when the mainstream media, gotta love them, they reported live today that the CDC and Fauci was going to he was going to let us start wearing, guidelines will be amended to let us stop wearing masks inside. Well, then I kept thinking, I'm looking at these reporters, and I kept thinking to myself, they're just now doing that? Well, you guys haven't been wearing masks from day one inside, reporting the news. So if you guys said fuck it to the CDC guidelines that you're not doing yourselves, I say fuck it too. And we all said fuck it. But no one said fuck it except me. They just didn't wear the mask from day one, even though the guidelines just now are being amended to allow us to stop wearing masks inside. When they never wore masks inside from day one, they were reporting the news together, sitting down next to each other. So if they can do it, we can do it. I said from day one, fuck the CDC guidelines. Thank you, mainstream media, for allowing us the actions that you took to allow us to know that we can do the same. That's what I took it as, at least. Unless you're saying the mainstream media is somehow above the rest of us and they're not able to catch the virus in the studio. Well, that's crazy, because why are we able to outside the studio? Well, that's just not happening. That's just, they're said fuck it to the guidelines. Otherwise, they would have been listening to them and everyone would be wearing a mask inside, just as they said that the CDC, I don't read the CDC guidelines, I'm just telling you what was reported today by them while they were wearing no mask. And I put it together like, you haven't been wearing masks inside, yet they're just now telling us we can stop wearing masks inside? And then I said, well, they never wore a mask inside, and even though those were the CDC guidelines. So if they can do it, we can do it. Thank you, mainstream media, for not wearing masks inside. I don't wear a mask anywhere. And then, so that's that. And then, oh yes, and then just in case anyone wanted to question the reality, which is the World Economic Forum, which, by the way, guys, that does exist. There are people that exist in that forum, I guess, that they have up on their website very, very interesting future reality plans that they post with very, and then comprehend it as what it is, which is what it is, and then go, holy shit. At least that's what I do when I read these things. Like, nope, that's true. They are doing it. I have to remind myself. I'm not crazy. I knew it. I read it before, but I just had to read it again to remind myself that I was not just saying something that wasn't true. Yes, it's true because it's on their website. Don't get mad at me, guys. I didn't make these rules. They did. I'm just telling you them so you can prevent your life from being... Unless you're a CEO of a corporation, a Fortune 500 company, in which case you're safe because you're on one of the boards or committees. Safe meaning you're not going to be enslaved as a product of a corporation instead of a human being that has, individual rights and freedoms like everyone else does as of now. So for the CEO corporations out there, you know what? I don't even want to be a part of that team. I want to be the part of the team that wants everyone to be free and happy to use their own individual judgment to do the things that they want to do on a daily basis and express themselves the way they want to express themselves individually with respect to everyone else's right to do the same. I don't see anything that's wrong with that unless you're the World Economic Forum. In which case, then there is a problem. Because that means that you want to enslave me. And I'm not going to be enslaved. Thank you very much. I was born on this planet just like everyone else. And I plan on going to salvation, eternity, just like everyone else also. Why? Because I'm granted the same rights too. Am I not? Yes, I am. How do I know that? Because God made me. How do I know that? Because I have emotions that God made for me to be able to live on this earth and express myself with those emotions and create my reality based on the laws that He made for this world for us to do and experience and manifest with the emotions that we were granted and given and blessed to have, so we can live together and create our realities with emotions that He created for us to use. Otherwise, yeah, that's exactly what happened. He created these emotions for us to use to create our reality with the laws that he made for this world that he created for us to use, which he created to enjoy our lives and manifest the reality which we so choose and experience that reality with the emotions he gave us. Yes, that's the truth. You believe it too, because you believe in God. Right? Yes, you do. I know you do. So how is that different than for me? Do I not have emotions? You know I have emotions. If above anything else, you can verify. You definitely know that. So, I feel like I have the right to live in this world just like everyone else does, because God made me just like everyone else in this world to be able to express myself and live that life just like you do, to have a life and live and love and be blessed with just like you do. I don't take your reality away. I would never do that. That's not who I am. In fact, I'm fighting for your reality to be just the same as mine, and everyone else to have the same freedoms as everyone should have. would never be like, all right, I'm going to have all the freedom to myself and no one gets anything. That's just not who I am. It's not who I ever was, and I wouldn't do that to anyone. Regardless of what anyone thinks, that's a fact, and God knows my heart. That is the honest truth, and I'd give that same exact freedom to everybody, even those that wouldn't give it to me. Yes, that's true. And I hope you'd give it to me, because I'd give it to you, always. Why wouldn't you? I don't know. I would hope that you would. I am a human being on the earth that was made by God, just like you. I don't see how one person could have that right and not another, if we're both together on this earth, living together. Made by God to live on the earth and experience life as we choose, manifesting the reality that we want, based with the experience that we want, with the emotions that He created us and gave us to have. And the only reason I keep saying that is because I just don't understand why you wouldn't want everyone to have that. Well, you know what? I don't know what that means. I'm just telling you what's on my mind, because I want you to know, or I'm trying to figure out what's really going on with your mind that is not as welcoming to me as I am, and I want to know why all the time. Why? Yeah. I have to really think about, did I do something? I don't know, but they won't tell me if I did, so I don't know. I don't think I did. Did I? I'm asking, questioning myself, I hope I didn't. I didn't mean to. If I did. So for anyone that says that I was lying about the future, that's on their website, that I didn't make up, but I'm just reading from, that's why I'm doing it, because I've seen that post a few times, as if I'm lying and making shit up. So I figured I'd tell you from their website, not mine, just reading public information from the people that are on every board and committee in the world setting agendas for us. And that's the World Economic Forum. Then you just click on their website. They make it real easy to use. Unfortunately, there's real stuff on here that doesn't really hold well with me, at least, as far as what they want to have happen. I mean, like, these are just, I mean, I don't even know where to begin on here. I mean, like, there's so many, like, the bigger you deep, the more agenda and the more shit that you read, and then the more stuff that you go, wow, when does it end? Alright. Why we need to tackle racial inequality. Racial inequality. Well, let's see what that means by in TV and film. Inequality, meaning you want equality. This is the way I have to read everything, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then usually there's something in there that goes, oh, there it is. Alright, and just so you understand, I don't have any problem with black people, white people. I'm welcome to all races. I want everyone to experience the freedom that we all deserve and have the right to. No matter what your race is, color, creed, gender, sexual preference, anything. Religion, all that. So that way there's no misrepresenting what I believe when I want everyone. When I say everyone, it doesn't matter what race you are, what color, creed, gender, sexual preference. If you're gay, that's fine. If you're not, that's fine. Whatever it is that you are, you're allowed to be free. According to what I would want, is if everyone should want, because everyone's granted those rights, not me giving them to you by any means. Please don't think I'm giving you rights. I'm just telling you that everyone has the same rights that is living here. Why wouldn't they? Because they are living here as a human, or as any individual species, maybe hereditary too, have the right to live. Including me. Yes, me too. So, I mean, I don't even think, I just have to question myself on why I have to even say this. Like, isn't this known? It's like, when did things change where I wasn't, what happened? And why would anyone not want to have everyone live? I mean, I'm not saying anything that's crazy. Well, yeah, I'm saying it, and it sounds crazy, because it is crazy, but I didn't make up these things. I'm just stating them. Why do I think it's crazy? Because I'm wanting to live, and that's crazy to them. And I don't know why that's crazy, because the crazy part to me is that you think that I should have to fight for my right to live when it's my right just like it is everyone else's to live. That's what's crazy to me. So, yeah. And, so we're going to read from their website, not mine. I didn't make it up. I wish it was never true, ever, that I ever, this even existed, to be even able to read, to be honest with you. Because it's not something that, it's not something that anyone should really want unless you're them, the World Economic Forum, and a CEO of a corporation. For the capitalist, what do they say, capitalist, some dominant agenda to come true, which is not this, it's nothing even close to the freedoms that we have now at all, because we still have freedoms now. That's not what they have planned, though. And they put it in a crafty wording way that makes it seem, hey, great, we're doing whatever weird word that I have to look up now that they just created to make it seem like it's a good thing. Now, if they change anything, if anything changes, which they probably will, to try to make it seem like they're changing their ways now, which this is what they do, by the way. So let's just go ahead and nail that right in the butt right now before it gets too freaking friendly on their website. And then you go, oh, well, look, we get to live now in an enslaved society, still working for a corporate machine. No, thank you. I will not be part of that program. And just because you are, we're going to be inclusive for humans now to be part of the machine as well. No thanks. I don't want to be part of that machine ever, no matter what race, gender, or creed I am now. I don't want to be part of the corporate machine, capitalistic, money-driven entity that is known as the world future reality according to the World Economic Forum. And then they tell me, embrace transparency. What do you think I'm doing here by reading your shit? Unless it's and I'm sure you're not as transparent as what I'm reading. I'm sure there's more to this than meets the eye, and what meets the eye is pretty bad as it is. Bad meaning enslaved society, corporate-driven, capitalistic-run world without individual rights or freedom. I consider that bad, so that's why I say bad. Davos Manifesto. What the hell? That just sounds scary, just saying it. To coincide with its 50th anniversary, the World Economic Forum has launched a new Davos Manifesto. As of today, probably, because earlier it said shaping our reality, shaping history for 50 years. And I had to read that like 5,000 times to really get it sunk into my head what they meant by shaping history. Shaping history. Shaping history. Shaping history. That's what I did. I had to say it over and over and over again, make sure I understood what they meant by that. So shaping history was on here earlier. I didn't make that up. Promise you. That's why I had to read it 5,000 times to make sure I read it correctly. I didn't really read it 5,000 times, just to be exact. I read it a bunch of times. 5,000 was an exaggeration for those of you that are trying to nitpick everything I say. See, he said 5,000 and we only counted 25. That's what somebody would say, too, probably. So if we can't even count on him to count the number of times he said something and read it, regardless of whether it was true or not, we're more worried about the number of times he said it. Because then what can we trust if he said 5,000 times and it was really only 22? I mean, what are we dealing with here with this guy? Do we even know? Yes, it all exists. I'm sorry if I miscounted the number of times I had to read the same exact thing that's on their website that they wrote that many times, however many it was, to be able to understand what they meant by it, which was shaping our history for 50 years. Shaping our history, shaping our history, shaping our history. Yeah, that's what it means, shaping our history. What does that mean? Making our history. I felt like that's what it meant. Shaping it in the way that they want us to see it, so that way they can bridge the gap between the past and the present, so that way we can move in the direction that they want us to move. It's something they do all the time to help the timelines out. What is a timeline? It's just basically a story that connects the past to the future. That's it. So when they say we're switching timelines, that means just the story, the narrative. So now I don't even want to read that. You know what? I don't know where to start on this thing. It's all scary to me. the state of the world by engaging industry, government, and civil society leaders in partnerships to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. Global, regional, and industry agendas. Based in New York and San Francisco, the World Economic Forum is impartial and not tied to any political partisan or national interest. Well, no, you are those. So you are, yeah. Why would you be when you are everything, all of them in one? It is the North American subsidiary of the World Economic Forum, the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, under the supervision of the Swiss federal government. We're not connected to any government, political, partisan, supervision of the Swiss federal government. The World Economic Forum's LLC's New York office acts as headquarters for various industry and system initiatives, as well as for North American and Latin American activities. Oh, thank you for being in control of that, too. The World Economic Forum LLC's San Francisco office acts as the headquarters of the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Leadership: Satira Nayar, Marisol Eduardo de Barrios, Matthew Blake, Maha El-Tagbi, Zara Inglesian, Paul Smike. That's just for the leadership for a small, these are just, whoa. Well, I can read you their title if you want, but they're there. There's titles. Head of Future of LT Investing, Infrastructure and Development, member of the Executive Committee. Head of Future of Consumption, member of the Executive Committee. Head of Regional Agenda, North America, member of the Executive Committee. Regional Agenda, North America, Executive Committee. Yeah, this is a real thing. This is the board. These are people. There is an agenda, and it states it right there on their website. Our mission. Our mission. The World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is the international organization for public-private cooperation. The forum engages the foremost political. Well, didn't they just say on the last page, we do not engage in anything political, government? Well, the forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society. Well, that's just going against the last page I read, but here it is. Our mission engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. It was established in 1971 as a not-for-profit foundation and is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. It is independent, impartial, and not tied to any special interests. The forum strives in all of its efforts to demonstrate entrepreneurship in the global public interest while upholding the highest standards of governance. Moral and intellectual integrity is at the heart of everything it does. Our activities are shaped by a unique institutional culture founded on the stakeholder theory, which asserts that an organization is accountable to all parts of society. The institution carefully blends and balances the best of many kinds of organizations from both public and private sectors, international organizations, and academic institutions. Well, I don't understand how any of that could be possible if they aren't part of any kind of politics agenda whatsoever, which I read. I'll read that again on the last page if anyone wants to clarify what that said earlier versus what I'm reading now. Unless they want to clear it up for me, which I would love to hear from that. We're in a back and forth communication style of debate where I get to ask questions, you get to ask questions, I get to respond, you get to respond. I'll do that anytime. In fact, I would love to do that every time. Anytime is fine to do that if you're willing to do that. I'm open for a debate of both sides being able to speak, not a one-sided debate where you talk and I listen. We believe progress happens by bringing people together from all walks of life who have the drive and the influence to make positive change. Read the latest annual report here. Find out about our foundation regulations and statutes. What does that mean? Regulations and statutes. Regulations and statutes. I don't even know. Well, let's read it. Let's find out. Let's see what they have to say about what I have to say, and if that's even allowed to be said in the future. Doubt it. The regulations aim at defining the organizational structure of the forum in line with complementary to Article 9, a sequence of the statutes. The Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees is composed of up to 36 personalities from business, politics, academia, and civil society who identify themselves particularly with the forum's mission and who contribute through their own involvement to the realization of its objectives. So, in other words, you have to be for the World Economic Forum to be a part of it, and the Board of Trustees, as far as what they said there. The Board of Trustees should clearly reflect the multi-stakeholder business, politics, academia, and civil society positioning of the forum. In principle, no stakeholder group should make up for more than 50% of the Board of Trustees membership. The Board of Trustees should also aim at having an adequate regional and gender diversity. Well, great. We're all gender diversified in the machine of corporation-run government that is the Board of Trustees who rule the world, capitalist-wise, government. Yes, it says it right here, I promise you. Not making this stuff up for their agenda. But they're not involved in any politics, guys. That's the good news. They've separated themselves from that, according to their last page. That contradicts this page. The criteria for appointment and integrity, global vision, experience in managing, leading private or public institutions, and engagement in world affairs. The members of the Board of Trustees do not represent any personal or professional interest, nor the interest of the enterprise organization of which they form part, but exclusively those of the forum. I don't even know where to begin with that, but the last statement says that they had to be adequate. Trustees should clearly reflect the multi-stakeholder business, politics, academia, and civil society positioning of the forum. Just wanted to make sure I didn't get thrown another curveball. Serving on the Board of Trustees should be based solely on the will to contribute actively to the mission of the forum. No honorarium will be paid, and expenditures will only be reimbursed in those cases where the organization of the Board of Trustees member is unable to absorb the costs incurred. In specific cases, when the board member assigned with a special task, a remuneration may be paid, provided the terms are agreed in contract and approved by the governing board. The Board of Trustees co-opts its members and elects from among its members the chairperson and the vice chairperson. Okay, well, in case of any significant change in the personal or professional status of a member of the Board of Trustees, which was the basis of becoming a member of the board, or an event that could be detrimental to the continuation of his or her function, the respective member offers his or her resignation from his or her mandate. In other words, if you start opposing the forum, well, we're going to have to change your position, and his or her membership will be, what does it say? Could be detrimental to the continuation of his or her function. The respective member offers his or her resignation from his or her mandate. Should a member of the Board of Trustees feel that there is a conflict between his or her personal or professional interests or functions as his or her role in the Board of Trustees, he/she should inform the chairperson, hey, I have a problem with this, and offer his or her resignation. Not like there was no talking about it as far as it being an open discussion. Just let us know that you have a problem and then get out. Not like, well, can we talk about it? No, of course not. Just leave if you have a problem with anything that we're doing. Should a member, yeah, that's what it says. Prevent interests of function, consider a role in the board. He or she should inform the chairperson and his or her inform the chairperson and offer his or her resignation from the mandate. If the chairperson becomes aware of such a conflict, she should discuss the issue with the respective member and induce him or her to offer his or her resignation. Okay, so in other words, now we're saying, to make it clear, the chairperson's job is to get them resigned too, just in case whoever the chairperson is in the future doesn't know that. We're going to state that here as well. The Board of Trustees, or in urgent cases, the chairperson of the board, shall decide with regard to the continuation or the termination of the mandate. Mr. Klaus Schwab, who created the forum, or at least one member of his immediate family designated by it, is an ex officio member of the Board of Trustees. The founder himself designates his successor in the board, and so forth. In later successions, if this disposition is not applicable, the Board of Trustees will decide. The function of the chairperson of the Board of Trustees and the function of the president of the managing board are presently exercised simultaneously by Mr. Klaus Schwab. He, in agreement with the Board of Trustees, may decide to relinquish one or both of those two functions thereupon and in the future. So Mr. Klaus Schwab is now become everything and all things to us. According to World Economic Forum, he may decide to throw all the boards out, and that's okay, because he has the final word, and every time, now and in the future, believe it or not. He is in agreement with the Board of Trustees. He, in agreement with the Board of Trustees, may decide to relinquish one or and two functions shall in general not be exercised by the same person. The Board of Trustees shall with simple majority have the authority to deviate from this rule if it finds a deviation appropriate in the specific case. Each member of the Board of Trustees is appointed for an initial term of 3 years, with the possibility of being reelected for a second and third term. In exceptional cases, the chairperson may, at his or her discretion, propose to the board that board members might be elected for one additional term. This exception may be applied to members of the executive and of the Audit and Risk Committee of the Board of Trustees and to heads of an international or public organization serving on the board. The founder is not subject to age or term or office restrictions. If a member of the Board of Trustees fails to participate in at least 50% of the board meetings over an extended period of 2 years, his or her mandate shall be terminated except the Board of Trustees decides otherwise. The term of office is further being terminated by resignation, removal from office, loss of disposing capacity, or death. There it is. Death to the members that do not cooperate according to the mandate. Well, up to death, disposing capacity, or death. So, I mean, there's other, you could be just terminated, removed from office, or is it saying all of those need to happen? I'm going to have to read this again. The term of office is further being terminated by resignation, comma, removal from office, comma, loss of disposing capacity, or death. Or death. Okay, or death. The Board of Trustees and the non-transferable powers according to the Swiss law and Article 13 of the statutes including 1. To act as the Board of Trustees and the guardian of the forum's mission, statutes, values, and integrity. 2. To approve the strategic framework of the forum as proposed by the governing board. 3. To appoint the members of the committees, their chairpersons, vice chairpersons upon the proposals of the governing board. To appoint the president of the managing board upon the proposal of the governing board. To appoint the auditors upon the proposal of the audit and risk committee. To determine the right of signature and representation of the form upon the proposal of the governing board. To approve the forum's annual report upon the proposal of the governing board. There's a lot of boards going on here. And none of them, I guarantee, most of the people in this world are on. So I'm wondering what the audit and risk committee, what their jobs are. Article 5, meeting and decision-making process. Well, thank you for teaching us how to do that. The Board of Trustees meets at least twice a year. It is convened by the chairperson in writing, generally at least 10 days before the meeting. The agenda is included in the convocation notice. The meetings may also be organized in a virtual forum. The chairperson presides over the meetings over the Board of Trustees. In case of his or her absence, the vice chairperson shall chair the meeting. Decisions are taken with the simple majority of the members present at the meeting, unless other dispositions prevail. In case of equality of votes in an election or vote, the chairperson's vote is decisive. Unless a member explicitly requests a discussion, the decision of the Board of the Trustees and its committee may also be taken by simple majority of all members by correspondence or by any other reliable means of telecommunication. If a member of the Board of Trustees wishes to contact the other members of the Board of Trustees in a specific forum matter, he shall consult with the chairperson about the most appropriate procedure. Absent members may not delegate their powers to other members of the Board of Trustees. They may, however, present their views on particular affairs prior to the meeting in writing to the chairperson. Well, decisions in writing are valid unless a member opposes against this procedure. A written decision requires the majority of all members of the Board of Trustees. Such decision shall be added to the minutes of the following meeting. All deliberations of the Board of Trustees shall be recorded in minutes. The minutes are signed by the chairperson and the secretary and are subject to endorsement by the Board of Trustees at the following Board of Trustees meeting. So we're not even going to count time until the next meeting happens, and then we're going to tell you what happened minute-wise in the prior meeting. Subject to endorsement by the Board of Trustees at the following Board of Trustees meeting. Creation of committees. The Board of Trustees institutes a governing board and an audit and risk committee to strengthen the governance of the forum. Committee members are required to participate in at least 75% of the committee meetings. I thought it just said 50% before, but maybe that's a different committee and a different Board of Trustees board. Either way, I'm not on any of them, and most people aren't either. The governing board prepares and executes the decisions of the Board of Trustees and oversees the activities of the forum and its bodies. The Board of Trustees delegates all matters within the frame of the statutes and that are enumerated in Article 4 of these regulations of the governing board of the Board of Trustees. The governing board is composed of 5 to 7 members. The powers and responsibilities of the governing board include the following: to develop the regulations defining the rights, obligations, and powers of the various forum bodies and to submit these to Board of Trustees for approval. To propose the candidates for membership in the Board of Trustees and its committees to the Board of Trustees. To approve any special financial arrangement with members of the Board of Trustees. To determine the strategic framework of the forum and to submit it to the Board of Trustees for approval. To determine within the strategic framework specific strategies of the forum based upon proposals of the President of the Managing Board. To propose the candidate for President of the Managing Board for appointment by the Board of Trustees and to determine his or her remuneration. To appoint and dismiss the members of the Managing Board upon recommendation of the President. To propose an annual report for approval by the Board of Trustees. To approve the budget upon the proposal of the President of the Managing Board. To approve upon the recommendation of the President of the Managing Board the charters defining the rights and obligations and different categories of associated communities. To approve affiliation agreements. To approve upon recommendation of the President of the Managing Board the framework for the academic program. To acquire or dispose of real estate. To approve any contract which is not in the ordinary course of the forum's regular activities and authority and which has not been explicitly delegated to the Managing Board. to approve financial transactions exceeding 2% of the annual revenues. And that's just a small portion of this.